And now we're going to have a speaker. And the speaker today is someone I met many years ago under many different contexts. Yeah, Amaya Victoria is going to be with us today. When I met her, she was Robin Velez. Oh, we didn't say I could mention that, but that's who she was. She's originally from this area. She's going to come to us on Zoom today. She's in New Mexico. And what I want to share, we talked, and she's going to speak on eldership. Interesting, because that's what the seed was kind of about. What is the wisdom from our elders? Eldership, adults, and children. That is her message. She's a healer. She's a channel. She's spoken to us here before. She's done workshops here on shamanism and drumming. She's done a lot of channeling in the area. She channels Isaiah, which is a group of high spiritual beings. She walks between the worlds. She has the wisdom of the human as well as the spirit as she enters into wise sharing. She says, we all come here to learn something sacred. We all have agreed to be here, and especially the higher beings are bringing us some wisdom of why our oneness is what is it we're supposed to learn in this physicality. So I think if we can all turn our chairs around, we're going to receive the wisdom from Amaya Victoria.
Thank you, Suzanne, for that. I'll wait till everyone can move their chairs around, and then we'll go. I know time is not really reality, but we do have a limited amount of time today with each other for this period. So, welcome all you beautiful people. Welcome. You are at 10 a.m. out there. I am at 8 a.m. this morning here in wonderful New Mexico. So I'm glad to see each of you. I would like to start with a poem because this really is a gathering for the next 7 generations. And I'll speak about that in a moment. And then we'll do a little bit of experiential, some meditation, and some prayer. So years ago, when I was channeling, I've channeled for many, many years, particularly in the Pennsylvania area. I was channeling to a group, and the group gave us this prayer, and it's a very sweet and simple prayer. It's called Full Circle Again. Full circle again, back to the beginning, back to the end. Dear ones, you are not going anywhere except full circle again. Because that is life. We are born, we live, we elder, we pass. And then we wait, sometimes long, sometimes short, and we do that cycle again. In the middle of all those cycles of living on the earth, we also have those cycles of other realities and of heaven. So everything is a circle. Everything is of the spiral, and everything is truly connected. When I speak today about eldership, I would also like to welcome in the elders of our trees and the rock people and the earth and the elders in spirit. Now, I'm aware that there are many, many elders who aren't quite in their eldership yet, no matter how old they will get, and many, many young people that are truly elders. But today I would like to speak about the eldering for us as humankind soul, because we are human, we are in this body here. When I was speaking to Suzanne yesterday, and what a sweet treat that was to hear her voice. I've known Suzanne, God knows how many years now. I was counting the other day, I think it was over 30 years, because my daughter wasn't even born yet or conceived, and she's 33. So God knows how many years I knew her before my youngest was born. At this time, as I speak to you, I am at 68 years old. When I was asked by Spirit to step out, I was 25. So it's been quite a few years, and those years go fast. Like my parents used to say to me, do not wish them away. They move fast. 25, 68, 25, 68, what the heck, right? So when I was speaking to Suzanne the other day, I said to her in our conversation, really, our eldership is important because it's for the next 7 generations. And she said to me, can you explain that to me? Why do you say 7 generations? I said, in the indigenous culture, it's always about the generations that will come after us and the generations that come before us. So it's the 7 generations that have come before me of my history, and we're all connected. The trees have shown me this, all those rooting and webbings, we're all connected to each other. For the ancestors of blood, bone, breath, spirit, and heart. And so therefore, in this connecting with each other, that place of spirit is the 7 generations before. We are in the middle, and the center is a very holy place because the center is where all directions converge and all energy goes out to the directions. And therefore, you and I, all of us sitting here today, are in the center place. For the 7 generations that are now coming after us, we have a rather sacred, holy, and important task. As elders, to the adults, to the children. Because the elders teach the adults and the adults take care of the children. When the generation of the adults are missing, then the elders will take care of the children, as we see in our day-to-day living now. So I was really once Susan and I began to talk, I really wanted to think about my walk through this world and how I met my elder, Dina Metzger, out in Topanga, California. But I would like to read to you the definition of the word gathering, because I know gathering now is a very big deal on our planet. Community is the only thing that will take us through this time we're in. So the word definition of gathering from the Merriam-Webster definition of gathering is a coming together of people in a group. My definition for the word gathering is the word dare, D-A-R-E, with a little slash on the top. That is an African word that means council. Council. And this word was given to me when I met my teacher, Dina Metzger. My walkabout was I was born in Philly, lived there for 49 years, moved to Santa Fe, New Mexico, lived there for 5 years, and boy, oh boy, was that a wild ride, those vortexes out there. Moved to California for 11 years, and Marina Del Rey, Laguna Beach, and then moved back to PA for, I think it was 2.5 years, about 2.5 years, and then back out here to Albuquerque. When I was in California, I was given some major lessons around my health. I went into tremendous ill health for quite a while. In that process, my ill health pushed me into the arms of a dare group run by this wonderful elder. She's 89 years old now, named Dina Metzger, a true medicine woman. And I didn't want to go. I didn't want another Reiki group. I didn't need that. I was in serious trouble. I walked into that group and it was nothing like I had ever experienced before. It was a group where there was counsel, where they discussed dreams, where the elders talked in story, not what they had learned, not about their teachers, but about their lives. And so as elders, we have stories. We have stories. You know, it used to be, I'm from Northeast Philly, so it used to be the grandparents would live with the children, with the adults, and the grandchildren would live with them also. And therefore, just like in circle and council, the children and the adults would listen to the stories that the elders had lived. See, eldership is about the walk. It is about a wisdom that comes if we're willing. You know, I had to be willing to not judge what was happening to me as good or bad or not right or et cetera, but to accept the learning from it so it could translate into wisdom. Melissa Etheridge says something in one of her songs, which is, there are things in my life that I will never understand. All I know is it's made me who I am. And that is the truth of eldership. We are being called now those of us who are in our elder years, which is 60, the initiating years for eldership is 55 to 60, and then 60 thereon, you are now moving into eldership. And that eldership is slow. You know, you want to slow down. I do not. Not only do I pick my battles wisely now, I really don't want to fight. I don't have the bandwidth for it because my focus is on community. And that is a natural instinct that happens to us for our eldership. So when I met Dina and she took me into Dare, we would once a month on Sundays sit in a circle in her large room, knee to back, shoulder to shoulder, crowded in. And in my head, and it was mixed, the adults and the elders and the children all sat interdispersed with each other. Yet I could see how profoundly important it would be for us now to have, in a metaphoric and literal way, the elders on the outside of the circle, the adults in the next side of the circle, and the children in the middle of the circle. Because this is now the honoring of our life experience. You know, I write things down and then it goes out of my hands because Spirit does whatever Spirit wants to do. You know how this goes. So today, let's talk about eldership. Where have you been all your life? What has your walk been about? Where has your walkabout taken you? My walkabout has taken me almost all over the friggin' world. I haven't gone to Europe yet. Some of this not so happily because I just didn't want to go, but Spirit was moving me to these places. Where is your walk in eldership? And can I see a raise of hands of those elders in the room here today? Because I'm only just getting a picture. That's 60 and over, please. Look around you. These are the men and women that carry the life force. These are the ones who have gone before all this that will come after, truly. Elders, it's our time, not in an ego way, but in a way that is so profoundly important to sit still and hold and teach and love. To love the generations that now have a very important task, which is to save our world. And that task is governed by Spirit, by our souls, and by our wisdom. Do we have adults in the room? And that is 55 to 25. And we have a few on the camera. Anybody in the room? I see some people are blacked out here, so I can't see hands. All right, then. So here is for the elders. Elders, I wish Spirit would sometimes tell me where to go out before they just tap me on the back. Elders, a blessing to you. Thank you for staying now for a very important time, a very sacred time in our world. Let's push away all the fighting. Let's push away all this ego shucking and jiving that's going on out there. Let's put to the earth the fear, and let's sit now with the breath of our elders. Your lives have been for something, and that is for the light of this world and beyond. You know, we walk towards the end of it. Ram Dass has said such a sweet thing. Ram Dass has said, all we're really doing is walking each other home. And that is so incredibly important to remember so that what our task would be do not become a burden. They don't become a burden. They become something that is a dance, a joy. Now, I have to tell you that I kid people now because I am an elder And right now, because I've had some back issues, I walk with a cane. So sometimes I say, I'm amongst people now that this is the world of the canes. We have canes, walkers, we have things like that, but we're still getting around. Our generation is still moving forward into that place of bringing back to this land and to this world something that we started when we were born here, those of us who were in those big first waves of a new way of coming. And that is, hark, come this way. Heaven has come to earth, and let us be the ones, because we have lived a while, to quiet you, to turn you, and to love you. So there is a song here. I don't know why I printed out songs. I said, there's songs for these different age groups, right? There are songs. We have a song by Cat Stevens. And this song is called Father and Son. And this is for the elders. It's the elder talks. It says, it's not time to make a change. Just relax and take it easy. You're still young. That's your fault. There's so much you have to know. Find a girl, settle down. I don't know so much about that, but these are the words. If you want, you can marry. Look at me. I'm old, but I'm happy. I was once like you are now. I know this is not easy to be calm when you found something going on, but take your time. Think a lot. Why, think of everything you've got, for you will still be here tomorrow, but your dreams may not. That is eldership. Things come and go. This too shall pass. So elders, Suzanne, do you have the bird I asked you to bring? Yes? Okay. What I would like now is for you to start this, Suzanne, and quietly, you do not have to speak out loud. Put blessings and prayers in that bird and pass it to the next elder and to the next elder. And let's fill that bird up, because we're going to then, for those online and for those in that room, at the end, let everyone take some of that blessing from the elders into their hearts. This is important. For it is truly time now to come to circles, to come to dare, to counsel, to gather as these elders, whether we walk with canes, whether we stand up straight, doesn't matter. We have hearts that are filled with questions and with answers. So as that bird goes around, I speak to the adults. Adults, if you will just take a breath now and allow yourself to know you have a heritage that goes before you, that soon you will be an elder, God willing. Gently, without force, let your adults settle this moment. Just let it settle. And we're going to take that moment to let that settle so that you can thank the elders who are staying with us at this time. The elders in spirit, the elders in this room, on this screen, the elders of the earth. So that we all may sit together. So adults, you can see the lesson in the lesson. This is what will happen as you're older. You'll begin to see the lesson in the lesson and understand the innocence of it all. For myself as an elder, I have learned not to take a lot personally and to ask what it really means. I'm in the middle of another spiritual work that I'm doing in another group. And in that work is about my faith with the Creator. And doesn't it happen that something happens with my housemate where I start to panic when I'm really being taught how to grow into a deeper faith with my Creator and let everyone else just be part of that? There was an innocence in our interaction, even though it was hard at the time, because the lesson wasn't what I saw. The lesson was what I was being taught. So, adults, there's lessons in the lesson. Sit quiet with it. Know that this heritage goes before you, gently without force. Let your adults settle. Just settle right this second. May all stress and tension leave you now, because you're not alone. Look around you. Look for the elders. And elders, I tell you this now so deeply that it's time for you to come into your own. Let go of the past. Let it be. As Melissa Etheridge says, something that has made you who you are now. You point towards the future, really, the elders. The adults are the cultivators of that hope and that the turning of the fields. And then we have our children who are really our future. We are doing this for the sake of continuation. When I was there and I worked out at the Circle Miracles, and my apologies to some of you, because I know some of you didn't want me to go and I left without saying a word. It was just one of those things. I'll talk about my walkabout in a moment. Had that, and I had said to my friend out here, I think it's going to be like a suction. I'm going to get done everything. I'm going to go and just got sucked right out, which is exactly what happened. So I didn't have time but to do anything but pack up and go. And that's the way sometimes spirit works. And so for our children now, and these are our children and our grandchildren, because sometimes our adults, and we need to pray about this because we're losing generations of adults here to addictions, to illness, and we have children we need then to sit with and to be with from our hearts, from the wisdom of that lengthy living in love. Before I left Pennsylvania, I had had spinal surgery, and 2 weeks after I had the spinal surgery, I was rear-ended, so I couldn't do a lot. But what happened with that spinal surgery is two things. It was my signal. I literally got pushed out of Pennsylvania, like boom, and my daughter who was driving leaned in and said, "Mom, if that's not the signal to go, I just don't know what is." But the other thing that happened is delayed my walking for my ancestors till Yom Kippur. For a month before, I was signaled by my ancestors it was time to do a walkabout. And I did for 2 months, not every day, with a young one, with an adult, my daughter first, and then another adult from Solutions. And we walked, and I find a grave, and my cousins, they were godsends because I found ancestors I had no idea were my ancestors. And I walked and lit yahrzeit candles and did prayer ties and sea salt and tobacco and wept and laughed and had phenomena some other time I'll tell you all about. Walking to a grave with a wind blowing so hard, I think it's going to knock us over. As soon as I'm done the prayers, the wind stops and the sun comes out. You can't make it up. Not at all. So, elders, you hold still the wondrousness of ancestral knowledge and the connection of all things that have come before, the generations that don't remember. You hold the memory for the children, and the children hold our lives. They hold a love for living. And we're all connected in the same way with this. So I walked from Yom Kippur to the week before I moved out of Pennsylvania. And at that point, I had gone from my teenage years, that's why I came back to Pennsylvania, to my adult years, to my eldership. When I landed in New Mexico, I didn't feel old. I felt like an elder. And it's hard to explain what an elder feels like, except maybe your back hurts a lot. It's hard to explain what it's like to know that things will pass, that you don't have to say something all the time, that you can watch and gather, that you can come forward with an open heart to an adult and particularly to a child and hold them. This is the time of great gathering, the time of Dare, the time of the dreams and the hopes being held by the elders as the adults come to health and the children are kept safe. It is important. So I don't believe we have any young ones in the room. So we're going to send it at the end here, prayers to our children all over the world, because there are all our children. Did that bird get filled up then? Yes. And I hope somebody's keeping time for me because I am not. All right. So then we have the adults, and I have a song for the adults here, and it is oh God, what is his name? Old Man, Look at My Life. I forgot to write his name down. And it goes, old man, look at my life. I'm a lot like you were. Old man, look at my life. I'm a lot like you were. Old man, look at my life. 24, and there's so much more, because from 55 to 24 is the adults. Live alone in a paradise that makes me think of two. Love lost, such a cost. Give me things that don't get lost, like a coin that won't get tossed, rolling home to you. Old man, take a look at my life. I'm a lot like you. I need someone to love me the whole day through. Ah, one look in my eyes, and you can tell that's true. Old man, look at my life. I'm a lot like you. And so for the adults in this room, welcome. We're glad you're here, because you can take then the staff from us when the time is right. You can sit with us and listen, and we'll listen to you. For I found when we were in Dare, the young ones were getting the dreams for the people. The dreamers were all through that room. And if you're a dreamer, you're dreaming for the people, so hold those dreams close. I would like now then to talk about the children before I get to the prayers for the adults, for the elders, the adults, and the children here. And then we'll end for a song. It's called 7 Years. Once I was 7 years old. My mama told me, go make yourself some friends or you'll be lonely. Once I was 7 years old. It was a big, big world, but we thought we were bigger, pushing each other to the limits. We were learning quicker. By 11, smoking herb and drinking burning liquor. Never risked, so we were out to make the steady figure. Once I was 11 years old, my daddy told me, go get yourself a wife or you'll be lonely. Once I was 11 years old. I always had that dream like my daddy before me. So I started writing songs, I started writing stories, something about that glory, yet just always seemed to bore me. Need to find the other page of this, okay. Cause only those I really love will ever really know me. Once I was 20 years old, my story got told before the morning sun with life was lonely. Once I was 20 years old. I think, elders, it's our time now to help the children know to slow down, that it goes way fast. For the grandmothers and grandfathers in this room, hold your children close. Hold the grandchildren close. This is a time that could cause great fear and anxiety, but it is a time of great tenderness, you know. It's a time of what really is important, what really holds true. So, elders, my question to you is, what are you doing to cultivate your eldership? Do you need to gather there in Pennsylvania and start making groups of elders to come together, of men and women to sit in prayer and meditation, to listen to each other, to talk about things of this world and of the world before and after and the world above and below? I think so. I believe so. The adults thirst for what we lived. For the ones that I know, we walk in both worlds. We have been of this world, but we are the original ones that stepped out calling that a new world was coming. It's time for counsel. It's time to give on life and to quiet the adults' grief. My daughter's 33. She tells me all the time, my generation's grieving, Mom. There's not much left for us. To help the next generation who will do sustainable living, who will do the things that us as hippies tried to do and just couldn't get done. Right? All right. So here's a prayer from the elders to the adults and the children. I'm glad this is getting recorded so you can all take this with you and listen to it later. You're not going to be able to write it down, I don't think. For all the children of earth and heaven, we, the elders, bring you a blessing and a prayer. Know now in our lives, our prayers are really in our actions, for there is no longer any time to waste. Feel this hand of mine touching yours. Feel through my hand my knowledge that whatever comes shall go, whatever stays shall become something else, that the end is the beginning and the beginning is eternity. My family of human, I love you. My breath brings peace, my laughter brings hope, and my faith brings for the adults and the children love. Amen. Would you let that bird go around, and would everyone just take a little sip of all that love put in that bird, and then we'll hold it up to the camera. We have another prayer for you here. Let me see if I can find it. This is why I like to put things on cards and not on paper. It confuses my poor little brain. Okay. See if I can find that last prayer for you all. If not, I'll just have to go back and see it and make one up for you quickly. Okay. As that bird is being passed around now. And how much time do I have left, by the way? Does anyone know?
I think it's been about 20 minutes. So
Okay, let me do this prayer for you all.
And then the
If we'll bow our heads together, as I let that bird keep going around, bow your heads. And this is a prayer from the adults or for the adults. I stand in this in-between place. I'm no longer a child, and yet I'm not an elder. And in this in-between place, I have wisdom. A wisdom, some of it formed and some of it forming. I am young and I am old. I stand with my hands open fearing that it is only dust that will come into my palms. And I feel water filling my hands. My feet are sure on the ground, and my head is in love with the heavens. Old ones look upon me and know my heart. Help me with my fear to ask for your wisdom. Welcome me so that I may remember and learn. I am grateful for this, for my children are so important. Our children are so important. I am the adult, neither young or old, and very much alive. Amen. And now for the children, and all of us are to think this together. All that is, thus of the eldership that hands to the children the love. All that is, thus of the adults that gives to the children love. Protect our future. Help our children. Let their wisdom feed us as on the wheel we turn, and the light of life flares brightly and completely for eternity. Amen. My name is Amaya Victoria. I thank all of you. God bless you all. There's no distance, you know. We're all connected.